Hey, it's Scott Luton with Supply Chain Now. Continue our coverage here at Gartner Supply Chain Symposium with the movers and shakers, like my new friend here, Sarah Barnes-Humphrey. Yes, the Sarah Barnes-Humphrey, founder of Let's Talk Supply Chain and so much more. Sarah, how you doing?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me, but new friend, I mean,
Well,
known each other for a very long time.
new best friend. How about that?
Oh, wow. I'm getting a title too. This is an amazing day.
Well, it's been too long. It's great to have you back. We admire all that you've been building at the Let's Talk Supply Chain ecosystem, and it's so great to see you in person. Sarah, great to see you. It's been too long, and we got a lot of good stuff to get into. Some of the usual suspects, and then some of the new suspects, new things, new initiatives. So I want to start with something. Uh, you don't know this probably, but I was a incredibly average church softball player back in the day.
Incredibly avid. What is
Incredibly
that?
average. I was not gifted with athletic prowess,
Okay.
right? But you have been, and you are passionate about softball. You play softball year round, right?
Well, yes, I mean, that is the goal right now. I
Okay.
mean, being in Canada, I can only play, throughout,
During the season or
yeah,
during the warm-up parts, but
but I have been playing for 35 years. Should I say?
uh, let's
I kind of dated myself. It's okay. 35 years. I was
two
fine.
says 2 years old. Well, so what, do you pitch? Do you play position?
Behind the plate,
Behind the plate?
catcher.
Alright,
So
let's like
even till this day,
yeah,
I still am behind the plate with all the gear on, and I get to throw the guys out at second.
okay, and you get to call the game. You're kinda like the quarterback of the
Yeah,
alright?
yeah, all the
Um,
plays.
and so you played catcher for all as
Pretty
long as you've been playing?
Mhm.
What about, your batting style? Are you a power hitter? Are you a singles hitter? Are you in the gaps? You play the speed game? What does that look like?
I used to be way better than I am right now. I don't know what happened, but, I kinda do a little bit of everything,
Okay,
you know?
alright, I love it.
Mhm.
And if you had one this is gonna be a little surprise
I'll do
question. So you had one Major League Baseball player, that you can best that's like that's what your game looks like.
Mhm.
Who would that be?
That my game is
Yes.
licked? I don't know any of the catchers,
Huh.
but what I do know is that I grew up in the era of Ken Griffey Jr.
Oh, yeah. That's a
I mean, he's one of the greats.
with one of the sweetest
Just throwing him out there.
with one of the sweetest swings of all time.
Okay, that's me.
Okay,
Yeah, I picked
wonderful.
right.
Alright, so softball. We're gonna have to circle back to that. I love your passion, and I bet, all kidding aside, I bet that's a great way of unplugging and recharging, and
Sometimes.
yeah,
If
something
it's a stressful game,
yeah,
I mean, I'm pretty much in
very
most of the
competitive.
plays, right?
Yeah, that's for
So if I drop the ball and somebody gets to steal a base,
okay.
that can get really stressful.
Oh,
But yes, it is my way. I really enjoy it. I have a lot of fun. There's a lot of camaraderie on the field.
okay, we're gonna have to get, pictures or none of it happened. Pictures, none of it happened,
You'll
including
actually see it. I have a TV episode coming out in August,
outstanding.
and we recorded some video of me being a catcher. So it'll be on that show.
Alright, stay tuned, stay tuned. Alright, speaking of cool things you've been a part of, leading the charge, Let's Talk Supply Chain, one of the world's most popular supply chain podcasts. Um, I know you've got a wide and deep collection of episodes. I'm gonna ask you a very unfair question. What's been one or a couple of your favorite recent episodes?
So I'm gonna keep it a little high level.
Okay.
I am very passionate about blended, which I know we're gonna be talking about
Well,
later. But we just did an episode about mental health. So we talk about diversity and inclusion in the workplace, and that one was incredibly eye opening. That one and the one before. And then my Woman in Supply Chain series. I mean, I've been doing that since January 2018, and really getting to know the stories of women in our industry and their career paths and what they've been able to do and the advice that they can share. And that one, I don't know. I really like both of those. We've got some great episodes with some great people on Let's Talk Supply Chain. I even have my live show, Thoughts and Coffee. I just did one with Sachin. That was a lot of fun.
yeah.
So
Was it more coffee or more thoughts on that? Because it varies from week, I bet.
that was a lot of thoughts. So it's kind of the fastest 30 minutes in supply chain because we cover a lot of topics. So I don't even think I have time to sip my coffee. I have coffee ready, but I don't have time to sip it.
So kidding aside, when you from a creative standpoint, curious. For me, when I start to diversify the content I make, it allows me to kind of explore a focus here, explore a focus here, explore a focus here, and it really helps. And also creates. Sometimes in supply chain we can talk about the same things over and over again.
Like tariffs,
Yeah, well, you name it.
the T word.
Right. Does this when you look at blended and you look at thoughts and coffee and you look at women in supply chain, do you get that same creative verse and it allows you to kind of
Yeah.
the oxygen to explore all those topics on their own?
Because they're very different, right?
Yeah.
The Let's Talk Supply Chain podcast is about people and stories in the industry and companies that make this industry go around,
Yep.
right? Thoughts and Coffee is about all sorts of stuff, and you never know where the guest is going to go, and it's live.
Right.
And so, it's a lot of fun. And then Women in Supply Chain is about career journeys. So I do like being able to create that safe space to tell the story. That's kind of my jam.
I love it. All right. So let's talk supply chain. We were talking a little pre-show about it's a tough time for supply chain leaders out there. They things are changing by the hour. We have a hard time defining exactly what the problem is in many ways.
Yeah.
And if we define it on a Tuesday, it may change by Friday, sometimes by Wednesday. What are you finding? A couple things on probably a longer list. A couple of ways that supply chain leaders are navigating through this ever-evolving, complex trade environment.
Yeah, so I was recently on Bloomberg and they asked me a similar question.
Okay.
And I think it's really about understanding what is happening and trying to stay on top of the news, which is very, very difficult, right? We've got a lot of content coming at us all the time. And they really need to understand what's going on in the moment. And so they need to lean on their teams, I think, to really go out there and listen to what's going on, to really figure out what is happening for them and what they need to focus on. Because every organization, every supply chain is very different.
Undoubtedly.
I think diversifying their supplier base. So an example that I shared was Apple. So 2 years ago on the show, I talked about how Apple moved some of their manufacturing to India.
Yep.
And it's actually saved them today because they're moving a lot of their manufacturing to India to skirt some of those tariffs that are coming out of China. And so 50% of the iPhones are going to be coming out of, I think, India and Vietnam for 2025. So really taking a look, and I think it's an exciting time. I think supply chain leaders and teams are thinking about it as opportunity rather than challenge.
Yeah.
And I like that, right? If we can look at supply chain design and figure out where we want to spend our risk dollars, I think that kind of makes it a little bit fun, I hope.
Hey.
Because it's a tough time. I mean, and I think, maybe a drink every once in a while and lots of coffee.
And we got to double up on our sense of humor, right?
Yes.
It's really important. Great point, Sarah. And I love to call out on India. It's amazing what India is doing to really build up their manufacturing base, right? I think the other thing is as production lines shift, where all the components are still coming from and having that visibility all the way down throughout the ecosystem. I think the importance, because we're in an age where arguably, according to some, based on some of the feedback I get across social, visibility is becoming table stakes in my view, right? We're not
I
all
don't think
there.
we've defined it yet. Well, we still don't really know what visibility is, and it means different things to different people. We've had somebody that came out that said that nobody's done anything about visibility. And all the companies are like, we're trying to figure it out. So I think the conversation around visibility, I think we really need to get down to what it is we're talking about when we're talking about visibility. And I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
No, that's okay. It is how we define it from one organization to the next, and including, from small to big, and based on what geographically, how big the ecosystem is,
sure.
the complexity of the organization, the complexity of the product. So that's an excellent point because ABC Company's definition of visibility, especially operational visibility, I'll call it, may be far different than how Apple or any other company.
But it's also about risk, right? Visibility and risk. Where do we want to spend the risk dollars? So what do we need visibility into for us to be able to make those kind of decisions? I mean, Apple made the decision to go to India because they wanted a new consumer market. So is there a new consumer market that you can tap into that you could potentially move some manufacturing to? Now, that's not going to happen overnight, right? But how do we shift and design our supply chains to fit within what we want? And then visibility into what we need
Yep.
comes with that.
Well said. And make those shifts in a dynamic manner,
Mm.
so it's not just shift and forget, right?
Right. And it's going to take time. It's really going to take time.
Anything worthwhile takes a little bit of time,
Mm.
right? Anything worthwhile takes a little bit of time. All right. So good stuff there. More to come as we were talking about as the problem continues to evolve.
Mhm.
Let's talk about blended for a second. Blended, you mentioned that earlier.
Yes.
What's the why there first?
So I started the Women's Supply Chain series in January 2018. And from there, I knew I wanted to spark more conversation around diversity and inclusion. It's not just about gender, right? So I started the Blended podcast, and it's where I bring 5 different people from different walks of life together to talk about diversity and inclusion in the workplace. And I wanted kind of like a red table talk for us to be able to talk about these things.
Okay.
And so I did that in October 2020. And then a year later, I didn't think I was busy enough. No, no. I really wanted to make an impact on industry stages because I don't feel that we see enough diverse voices on industry stages. And I watched my best friend struggle with that. She would say yes to a speaking engagement and then had to drive 4 hours to get a plane ticket
Yep.
for less money and stay across the strip just to speak for an hour on stage. And so we created the Blended Pledge, and we give away grants to cover travel expenses so that diverse voices can say yes to speaking engagements. And so that is Blended. We went from 6 volunteers January 2024 to 20 volunteers January 2025. And we've given away a bunch of grants to a lot of great people. And it's not just supply chain. We cover all industries. So
Love it. And so how can two quick follow-up questions. How can folks sign up to be supported by your great efforts at Blended? And how can companies sign up to help support the efforts that Blended is driving?
yeah, so blendedpledge.org. Head over there. Applications, donations, individuals can donate as well as we have corporate sponsorships. And then we're always looking for volunteers.
Okay.
And then hello at blendedpledge.org to reach out and let us know if your company wants to sponsor.
Outstanding. Hello at blendedpledge.org. And what was the URL again?
Blended Pledge.
Oh, all right. Gotcha.
Mhm.
Wonderful. So, folks, if you want to be part of and be supported in your efforts to find your voice and share your voice, or if you're a company or individual that wants to support
Yes.
the Blended mission, there is come one, come all. All right. So, Sarah, we have done a little homework, and we understand you've got this
Maybe.
exciting book coming out.
Maybe.
And even better, I think, because again, we talk about supply chain all the time. It's not focused on supply chain, which I love.
Yeah.
So tell us what you can.
Mhm.
What's this book all about? When's it come out?
Yeah, so it's coming out in October, and I have decided that my personal brand is going to be about self-worth.
Okay.
My superpower is creating safe spaces for conversation and helping people feel heard. And so the book is about my relationship with self-worth, with my life experiences and what that's looked like and how it's helped me and how I've found my superpower. And so it's called I Buried Her in a French Press, a memoir of finding my voice and the power of being heard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
And there's a story in there about the
okay.
French
I
press.
was about to ask. I'm sure you get that question a lot.
I do.
Um,
It's an ode to my step grandma.
okay. Love that. How can you share any? So, for folks out there that might be wanting to write a book and publish it at some point in their journey, what was one best practice from your approach at, putting a book together that you would share with others?
Yeah. So you want to work with the right person, or the right company.
Right.
And that's what I'm doing. And they're really helping me to put everything together. But I think it's about timing. I've been talking about writing a book for a couple of years. And This year we had a lot going on, so I don't know if it was like super great timing. But
It
long
never is,
ago,
probably.
it never
Yeah.
is. So I would just say take action. Just do it.
Just do it.
If you're thinking about it, you don't want somebody else to take the idea. So just do it.
And clearly, from a passion standpoint and the story that you're sharing, very important for you to kind of convey that into the book. I bet that helps to some degree.
Yeah. And it's been, it's actually been very therapeutic because I've had to take a look at my life from beginning to now
Interesting.
and kind of relive all of the experiences that I've been through.
Mm.
And really talk about what they meant to me and how I felt going through that so that we could convey that through the book. So it's been an interesting couple of months, that's for sure.
All right. So when can folks get their hands on
October.
this? Okay, October 2025.
Yes.
It's right around the corner.
Uh-huh.
And the title of it again, Sarah?
I Buried Her in a French Press, a memoir about finding my voice and the power of being heard.
Love it. Sarah Barnes-Humphrey, coming to your favorite bookstore in October 2025. Okay, Sarah, you got no shortage of ventures and initiatives, but what's the easiest way for folks to find you and connect with you, whether it's Let's Talk Supply Chain or anything else?
Let's Talk SupplyChain.com, SarahBarnesHumphrey.com, blendedpledge.org. And I think that's about it. You can look up Sarah Barnes-Humphrey on LinkedIn as well. Oh, Sarah Barnes-Humphrey on Instagram. I post a lot of stories about my day-to-day.
Outstanding. Or at a all-star softball field near you,
I
right?
can do that now at this age.
Look for the sweet swing, right? The King Griffey Jr.
Hey, Junior.
Big thanks. Sarah Barnes-Humphrey, Let's Talk Supply Chain. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is great. We've come together.
We need to do it more often. We can make it happen. Folks, hopefully you've enjoyed this chat. You know, Sarah and I both, we talk supply chain all the time. It's so refreshing to be able to go take a hard right and talk about other things in life. But regardless, stick around as we continue our coverage of the movers and shakers like Sarah here at Gartner Supply Chain Symposium. And you can find it all at supplychainnow.com.